Hello everybody, got another video for Jujutsu Battles Tokyo Saga, and today we're doing the tier list for the mages. So, same thing as last time, we got a pay to win tier, best free to play units, units that you're going to want to replace for these units, and then just your food tiers here. So first off we got Mei, probably the best character in the game. She has Revive Forbidden and 50% healing reduction. It is on a 3-round cooldown, but this is a pretty good skill. This one, really high damage. It's spread out quite a bit between 5 units, but once you get down to, say, 3 units, then you're going to be doing some heavy damage on everybody. And they'll receive extra damage if they're under Echo. And then she can also self-buff, reducing damage taken by 10% of her attack, and increasing her attack by 20 and crit damage by 30%. Next up, we have Jogo, actually. Another pay to win tier. So, does alright damage, but also converts 30% of the damage into a shield. This could be a pretty heavy shield, seeing as it attacks 3 people. Now, this one attacks everybody, and has a 50% chance to inflict each one of these debuffs. 15% damage red decrease, 15% attack red, 30% healing received reduction, and 10% crit reduction. And it can apply each one of these. At the start of the round, Jogo's Ember Insects attach to the unit with the highest attack, absorbing damage for him, with each instance of damage not exceeding 50% of his max HP. Increases damage by 15%, and if they're attached to himself, 25% of the damage will be converted to HP. If they're attached to an ally, Jogo's attacks will deal damage equal to 3% of the target's max HP, not exceeding 100% of attack. Well, there's a lot to say. Next, we have Kenuo. Deals 150% magic to the 3 enemies with the lowest HP, and plus extra 2 damage to 3% of his HP. 80% chance to apply Curse, so obviously use him on a Curse team. This one's self-buffing, increases the caster's crit by 20, and then deals 150% damage to all targets. If they have a debuff, there's a 100% chance to inflict a Curse, and for every debuff they have, the skill damage goes up by 10%. So at the start of the round, if he has less than 40% HP, he gains a shield, 140% of attack, and damage reduction, and more damage reduction. Otherwise, he'll be doing 20% more damage. Non-dispellable, that's big. And next up we have Ghetto. The last one for the pay-to-win tier. I've seen him drop down a little bit on other tier lists, but it looks pretty good to me still. 130% damage to all enemies, 80% chance to inflict either 50% of healing reduction or healing forbidden. Cannot be dispelled. Deals 215% magic damage to 3 enemies in the middle and back, 80% chance to ignore 20% of the target's defense. For every stack of healing reduction or healing forbidden, damage dealt increases by 5%, can be stacked up to 12 times. That's extra 60% damage, that's crazy. Reduces all physical damage received by allies by 15%. 20% chance to inflict confusion on targets for 2 turns when he's attacked. So he seems like a pretty good debuffer. Now, for the free-to-play best tiers. Got Naito Zenan here. 144% damage reduction to 3 random enemies, 80% chance to inflict attack reduction for 2 rounds. It's on 1 round cooldown, so they should be pretty much constantly have a 30% attack reduction. 60% chance to dispel all buffs. This is what makes him really, really good. That's why in the previous tiers, the buffs that cannot be dispelled is really important. 50% chance to inflict crit forbidden. Cannot crit. This will be really important later on in the game when the battles will be decided in the first couple rounds after skill 1 and 3 are released. Because if they can't crit, that's a large portion of their damage that they can't deal. Next we have Noroshi, another free-to-play best. Deals 131% magic damage to front and middle row enemies, 60% chance to inflict slow, and reduce their attack, 1 round cooldown. Another thing that'll be deciding factor in a lot of battles in the first couple rounds besides burst damage is who goes first. You always need to go first. Because if you can kill a character, that's a character they can't use, or if you can CC a character, that's also a character that can attack. 121% magic damage to 4 enemies, 40% chance to apply Imprison. If they're under slow, the chance is increased, which they should constantly be under slow here. Also another speed reduction by 8% at the start of the battle. So just by having him on your team, the enemy team is going to be slower, giving you more of a chance to go first. Next up is Gojo, and unfortunately, you're going to want to replace him. So 105% magic damage to all enemies, 60% chance to apply Echo. They're going to take extra damage, 105%, not very good. Skill 3, 170%, 4 random enemies, still not very good, but the 50% chance to inflict 10% slow, that's good, but Noroshi does it better. And then just a little bit of self buffs here. If it's over 30%, increases their crit by 20 and crit damage by 20. If it's under 30%, increases their lifesteal and attack. Another one, probably going to replace, unless you're using them on a full curse team, then Hanami would probably be here, maybe. Probably here even with a curse team though. Reason being, deals pretty good damage, restores HP. Really good damage, restores HP. Increases damage dealt. But you notice, it doesn't apply curse or deal extra damage to cursed enemies, even though it's a cursed unit. Pretty bare bones, no CC, just good damage, self-healing. But it's not really what you're looking for. Next up we have Megumi, who's probably just going to be 10-star food, to be honest. Could more than likely be in replaced tier, but he's usually on the bottom row in all the other tier lists I've seen. So we've got 3 random enemies, 120% damage, 60% chance to apply severe injury, 150% damage, more crit rate to anybody under severe injury, deal extra damage to anybody under severe injury. So if he's on a pure red team, which I don't really know why you would run a pure red team, he'd probably be one of your better units, but as of right now, I'm just on a general team, he's just food. And then to end up the list, we just have your food characters, or food units here. You can use these at the beginning of the game, but they're really useless after that. And that's the completed tier list. If you have any questions, leave some comments below. If you think somebody's in the wrong spot, let me know. Thanks for watching. See ya. You are my special.